Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Some brothers we're talking about nationhood, and you got these same Negroes out here who have no confidence, no nothing. They don't realize that black people in America built the country. If you look at Liberia in 1970, if you don't believe me, come on Facebook, I'll show you. By 1970, Liberia was a developed country and basically was a beautiful country, a beautiful city. Monrovia, matter of fact, Monrovia had one of the biggest hotels on the continent, the Ducor International, and they used to give away prizes to African-American contestants on American TV. That's how beautiful that city was at one time. And that was a civilization. It was industrialized. It was poised to be the first black industrialized nation. Now, this idea that black people can't build a nation and all this stuff like that is just basically detractors by these Negroes who don't want to basically have the idea of nationhood and everything. I don't know what their thing is, you know. So let's kill these talking points right here, right now on this radio show. Holip says, I'm not going to play the show, but if you don't know, folks, go to Mr. Holipsism on YouTube, you know, like him and subscribe to him on YouTube. You'll basically enjoy him. He's like the Minister of Information, the ambassador to all of it. Mr. Holip is like our Ben Franklin. You know, he's like a black Ben Franklin. You know, he's going to go beyond where nobody will go before, not even me. All right, let's see. Let's read some of the comments. All right, he talked about the video was there be an Israel for black people. In other words, a nation state where if we want to, the government of that nation will basically host black people who want to get out of America, who think America's racist and everything. In other words, basically, what you have right now in America right now, I'm going to say something right now, right? It's going to shock people and it's going to hurt you, whatever like that, but so be it. What you are in America is nothing but a quasi-slave. A slave has no power over his situation. He just deals, no matter what kind of hardship he deals, he just deals with it because he has no choice. And a slave is basically dependent on his master for everything, his master for love. You saw that with Common, which basically Common was right in many ways because if you basically going to be American, you might as well start just loving these white people because it'll make your life easier. Because the harder you are and stuff like that to worry people, the less you're going to get along in America. It's going to be frustrating because you're not going to do anything in America without dealing with white people and everything. So you might as well just, if your goal ultimately is to be America and live your life in America, then you might as well learn how to get along with white people, or you're basically not going to be doing anything productive with your life. That's just the way it is because they're everywhere. So Common was right about that. Now, if you're a nationalist, you just basically play the game. Hey, okay, how you doing, Mr. White Man? Blah, 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 blah. But in your heart, you know you're building something else. And then you're not shocked or hurt or surprised when something happens. Like personally, black people get shot, by police. I'm not shocked anymore. Angry, sure, outraged, but I'm not going to get up there. Oh my God, we shall overcome and blah 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 blah. No, them days are over. I understand America for what it is. Yeah, about Somalia, Liberia and Somalia, right? If you study the history, that's what people don't understand. Why don't you take time and learn the history of Liberia and study it and understand that when our people, the African-American descendants, were ruling Liberia, Liberia was an up-and-coming nation on its way to industrialization. The U.S. government with the CIA overthrew Tolbert, right, because Tolbert basically sided with the Palestinians, and Tolbert sided with the non-aligned movement, right? Tolbert told the U.S., you're not going to fly your jets over there. They wanted the Nixon and the Ford administration wanted to use Liberia as a staging ground for the war in the Congo and the war in Angola. And Tolbert said, no, you're not going to do that because we're a sovereign nation. So they invited Cuba. They invited China in as diplomatic relationships. Not even a year and a half later, he was toppled. That's how it goes in Africa. If you do something against the United States, no coup in Africa happens because people just rise up. Military coups because the military apparatus is basically given aid and support and logistics by the CIA, and they can overthrow any government anytime they want to. That's just the way it is. So when the indigenous people who didn't, most of them, no offense to the indigenous, didn't understand the nuances of a government, brought the United States in, and they started militarizing the country and everything like that. And then these people basically, without losing the connections they had over generations through colleges and through diplomatic channels and everything, the whole country collapsed. And that's what happened with Liberia. Now, but when you look at Liberia, let's look at Liberia from its independence, its founding, to 1980. And you tell me Liberia was on the same level as Portugal or Spain or in Argentina. And that was a black country. It wasn't colonized. It was only colonized by blacks from America. So don't tell me about Liberia because you never studied the country. All you see is what you see on the media, and you don't understand that some of the top educated people went to Liberia, the McGills, the E.J. Roy, Joseph Jenkins Roberts, Hillary Teague. You know, if you basically when people start quoting Thomas Jefferson, why don't you quote Hillary Teague, John Day? All these men basically who went to Liberia basically had fiery speeches about America. They condemned America. They said we're abandoned by our country in America, and so we're on these shores without any help, and we're going to build a nation to show the world what a black people can do. It's called a race benighted. That means basically people put on to a continent which basically has not developed and everything. And let's be honest with ourselves, that part of West Africa was very, very primitive, very, very savage, and they basically brought civilization to that part of the world. And they basically built a nation against all the odds. Liberia never had a civil war in its history. America had a civil war. Liberia mostly had peace. They settled peace with the native tribes. And they built schools. They built colleges. They built roads. They built industries. That was a nation, a black nation. And the reason why you don't know about that is because you don't want to know. You only want to know about your own miserable existence in America, and you don't want to think about anything outside of America. And then when somebody says, "Well, geez, I want to get out of America. I think I want to go to Africa. I really want to go to Brazil." Oh no, you're running away. You can't do that. You can't escape the plantation. And then another thing about this, why are you escaping? Well, that's the same logic when people said, well, why are you leaving when you get to run away? Why are you running away? Oh, your people here on this plantation, why are you running? Yeah, I understand that, but I got to get away. To why? Because I want freedom. Now, if they can't run and everything like that as fast as I can, let them stay there. Then you got some people like, well, I was born on this plantation, I'm going to die on this plantation. And guess what? They died on that plantation. And then some people say, I'm getting the hell, as soon as I one single chance, I'm getting the hell out of here. And they got the hell out of here. Then some people left. There's some cases where people left, right? The plantation escaped, and then they came back. They didn't know anything else. Let me go back to Master such and such because, hey, you know, it's hard out here. You know, sad. I'm just so glad I'm a free will person. You know, I'm a free will person. And nobody is bound to me. If somebody tells me go back to Africa or whatever like this, I don't feel any attachment or any loyalty or any love for the United States. None whatsoever. And let's be honest, the only thing about America was good was the infrastructure, and that's it. People come to America because of the infrastructure. You notice that, and to tell you the truth, I'm telling you the truth, right? And I'm gonna blow something. And this is the first time you're ever going to hear this. This is where you're going to hear this from KalaGenesis, the voice of the KalaNation show. I'm going to put a jewel out there. You find the least amount of people coming from countries where there's the most infrastructure in place. Most of the people who come to America come from undeveloped countries and poor countries. I have yet to meet a Swede in my life. I think I met one Norwegian. I've never met a Singaporean. Very, very few Japanese. Very, very few Brazilians, to tell you the truth. But the people I meet from foreign countries, they all come from depressed, underdeveloped, poor countries, whether in Central America, Africa, or Asia. There's many Vietnamese here. Why? Because Vietnam is not developed and is a pretty much poor country. There's people from mainland China. Mainland China, in many ways, is underdeveloped. Wherever there's poverty, those people will find themselves in America. Ukraine, poor country, underdeveloped. There's a lot of Ukrainians here. Anywhere you find poverty, you're going to find attraction for America because America has infrastructure. Any country that's developed, they got nice roads, infrastructure, bridges, tunnels, banking system, colleges, hospitals, and all those things that sustain life, you do not find people leaving. That's just the truth. I would love somebody to disprove me on that. People don't come to America because they love America. They come to America because America has infrastructure. Now, if you have infrastructure, you want to be a nation, you build your infrastructure. You build your infrastructure, people will come. As simple as that. When you got water or sewer systems, water, you have a banking system, you have an educational system, you have all these things. You have a police, you have security, you got fire medics, all these things that sustain a modern civilization. People will come. Of course they'll come.